Most of you know who Dr. J. Allen Hyenk is, so I'm not here to give you a history lesson on Hynek.
There was a time when people would sight flying saucers, and wherever they made reports, they were sometimes treated or ridiculed or called wackos or crazy people. What Dr. Hynek and his people are trying to do is present a forum where people can present the most unusual sightings and have them treated with dignity and without fear of being ridiculed. Would you please welcome from the Center of UFO Studies in Evanston, Illinois, Dr. J. Allen Hyenk. Dr. Hynek.
He worked with the Air Force on projects dedicated to studying the UFO phenomenon. Projects like SIGN and the most popular, Project Blue Book. It was the 1950s and the Air Force was looking for an explanation to the phenomenon. They had a debunking agenda.
Controvertible points, even the grossest skeptic can't deny them. First of all is that the UFO reports not only exist but persist. See, when I started with the Air Force, I thought that this was a fad. In a few years would just disappear.
Be all over, okay.
And it's global. We have reports now from 140 countries.
Now Hynek went along with the Air Force's debunking agenda so he could have access to the files, the Project Blue Book files, and continue to keep his job. He could not explain some of the cases that he came across, and this led him to create the legacy that we all know him for in the UFO community. Hynek believed that a scientific approach towards this phenomenon was the best way to find the truth.
If, for instance, NASA someday were to investigate a civilization in some other solar system and found that civilization to be several steps below our state at that time, then we would know enough about psychology and sociology to realize that the worst thing we could do would be to just barge in and snow them. They would just either cause panic or worship. What a smart group would do would be to slowly infiltrate.
So how many of you have been watching History Channel's Project Blue Book? I've been watching it and I've been loving every minute of it. If you've been watching it, let me know what you think of it down in the comments below. Let me clarify that I know this is a dramatized version of Hynek's story. It's a show made for television.
Public, don't rock the boat. And I saw it in my own eyes happen that whenever a case happened that they could explain, which is quite a few, they made point of that and let that out to the media. Things that the cases that were very difficult to explain, they would jump handsprings to keep the media away.
Now, one of the things that I'm loving the most about this series is how the creators of this show are showing you Hynek's approach to the phenomenon. Scientific while still being skeptical. At the same time, they're leading him down this rabbit hole of the unexplainable. Now, just watching Hynek go down the rabbit hole with a scientific and skeptical approach has really got me thinking lately. If you guys can hear any background noise, that's actually something called a murga, and it happens once a year in Buenos Aires, and I have one. It's like a festival. I have one like 2 blocks away. So, sorry if you guys hear that in the background, but let's continue. To be honest, I feel like healthy skepticism is hard to find. The community is divided between blind believers and blind skeptics. There are very few of us standing in the middle ground. Personally, I have received hateful responses to questions that I've thrown out there, one-word responses or one-sentence response, and I always try to ask the person to clarify why they feel that way. Even though sometimes I know they're just snapping back or trolling, what I want to know is how do they justify those thoughts? What led them to that conclusion? Now, I know we don't all have the same opinion when it comes to the unknown, the paranormal, UFOs, high strangeness. So for me, it's super important for that when somebody refutes what I'm saying or tells me that I'm wrong, for at least to give me an explanation of why they feel that way and share their research with me so I can maybe change my opinion or learn something new. And to be honest, I didn't start this channel to give anybody answers. I started this channel to find answers, share my thoughts on this subject, and learn more. Learn more from you, the community, you watching this. I don't know. You know, I thought in making these videos and sharing them with the paranormal and the UFO community, I would find more answers. That someone out there would be able to teach me something. That this was just like a flare, a flare in the universe. I'm standing there with a flare in the cosmos, just hoping somebody can give me answers. I've met some amazing people on this journey, and I've met people that have shared their thoughts with me, but I truly believe that it would be more. If there's one thing that I've noticed so far, is that the community is divided. But I personally believe that many of us are approaching the subject incorrectly. We need to approach this subject like Hynek did, with an open mind. What needs to be debunked will be debunked. We don't need any more fluff out there to confuse us when we're looking into cases.
I made the statement that it could be swamp gas, and even though I went on to emphasize that I couldn't prove it in a court of law, that was the full explanation for these sightings. Well, the press picked up the phrase swamp gas and rushed off to the telephones, and I was to come into a great deal of criticism over it.
We also need to understand that this phenomenon may be unexplainable within the scientific parameters that we have set up today, within the laws of science that we have. Today's magic is tomorrow's science. For a species that had to learn and evolve from scratch, I think it's funny that we believe there's some sort of checklist that we can use to explain every strange phenomenon on our Earth, our dimension, and in the cosmos. Personally, I want to thank all the people that follow this channel that have had discussions with me. That is what I'm searching for, open, healthy discussions on these subjects. To build a community, something maybe like the Invisible College. So we need to start working together as a community. I understand. We've been lied to many times. Many charlatans, many fakes. But whatever, let's start fresh with an open mind. Debunk what needs to get debunked. Don't be afraid to have discussions. Don't be afraid to talk about the unexplained, Share your ideas, share your thoughts, and be ready to take in other people's opinions and grow from that and learn from that. I'm sure there's somebody out there with an amazing story, an abductee or somebody with research that they've compiled or created or something that they stumbled across that they just want to share. They can't wait to share it, but they're afraid of the ridicule from the community or the trolls. If you're watching this, don't be afraid. Just share it. Discuss it with me. I'm open to that. I'm open to any crazy theory that you have. If I think it's not a possibility, I'll let you know. So yeah, I hope this video reaches the right people and we can start a discussion down in the comments. Introduce yourself. Let me know what you believe. And remember, I am the Undead Gaucho, and the paranormal is normal.